The 2026 edition of the Masters delivered its usual mix of drama, brilliance, and unforgettable moments. Yet, not all the headlines came from the leaderboard. Some of the most talked about storylines emerged away from the fairways, particularly during press conferences, where opinions can sometimes create just as much noise as a roaring gallery. One such moment involved Max Homa, whose candid remarks about on-course behavior quickly ignited a wave of criticism and debate among fans. During media duties at the RBC Heritage, Homa was asked about the evolving code of conduct in professional golf, especially in light of recent incidents at Augusta. The conversation inevitably turned to emotional outbursts on the course, something that has become increasingly scrutinized as the sport aims to maintain its traditional image of discipline and composure. Homa didn't hold back. Referencing fellow pro Sergio Garcia and his recent meltdown at Augusta, Homa expressed a firm stance against such displays of frustration. "I don't like when people take out their frustrations on the golf course," Homa said. "We all have to deal with it. I believe that breaking clubs makes us look very, very spoiled." On the surface, the comments seemed reasonable. Golf has long prided itself on etiquette and self-control, and Homa's remarks aligned with that ethos. However, it didn't take long for fans to dig deeper, and what they found complicated the narrative. Social media users quickly resurfaced footage from the 2025 PGA Championship held at Quail Hollow Club. In the clip, Homa is seen reacting to a poor approach shot by launching his iron down the fairway, a moment of visible frustration that seemed to contradict his recent criticism of Garcia. The video spread rapidly online, accompanied by captions pointing out the apparent hypocrisy. One widely shared remark summed up the sentiment: "Glass houses shouldn't throw stones." The backlash was swift and, at times, unforgiving. Fans began to question whether Homa's comments were fair or whether they overlooked his own past behavior. For many, the issue wasn't just the act of criticizing Garcia, but the perceived double standard. In a sport where integrity and self-awareness are highly valued, even a small inconsistency can become a major talking point. To Homa's credit, his full response during the interview painted a more nuanced picture than the viral snippet suggested. He acknowledged his own shortcomings, admitting that he, too, has struggled with maintaining composure on the course. "I'm very upset with myself because we're very lucky to play this game," he added, hinting at a level of self-reflection that didn't fully come across in the headlines. Still, context often gets lost in the fast-moving world of social media. Short clips and quotes tend to dominate the conversation, leaving little room for deeper interpretation. In Homa's case, the broader message about accountability and respect for the game was overshadowed by the resurfaced footage of his own outburst. Interestingly, this wasn't an isolated incident in Homa's career. He has previously admitted to moments of frustration, including the use of strong language and occasional club throwing. At the RBC Heritage itself, he acknowledged that he wasn't immune to such behavior, saying, "Not to say I've never done it." However, critics pointed out that acknowledging past mistakes while simultaneously criticizing others can still come across as inconsistent if not handled carefully. Looking further back, Homa's emotional reactions have occasionally made headlines. During the 2023 WM Phoenix Open, he was seen throwing a club after a mishit shot from a bunker. In a rare moment of self-deprecating humor, Homa later shared the clip himself on social media, joking, "Can't look less cool if I tried." While some fans appreciated the honesty, others viewed it as evidence of a pattern. The scrutiny surrounding Homa also extends beyond his actions on the course. For years, he built a strong following on social media, particularly on Twitter, by humorously critiquing amateur golf swings. His sharp wit and willingness to engage with fans earned him widespread popularity, but it also contributed to a persona that some now see as contradictory. By mid-2025, Homa had largely stepped away from the platform, describing it as a safe haven for holes. Critics were quick to point out the irony, noting that he had once thrived in the very environment he later criticized. Meanwhile, the incident involving Sergio Garcia provided its own layer of controversy. During the final round at Augusta, Garcia's frustration boiled over in dramatic fashion. After struggling on the second hole, he took multiple swings at the ground before turning his anger toward a nearby cooler, striking it with his driver and snapping the club head off completely. The outburst was one of the most shocking moments of the tournament and drew immediate attention from officials and fans alike. As a result, Garcia received a formal warning under the Masters' newly implemented Code of Conduct, a policy designed to uphold the tournament's standards of behavior. The warning marked a historic moment, as it was reportedly the first time Augusta had taken such action under the updated guidelines. The rules, modeled after those of the PGA Tour, explicitly address actions such as damaging the course, displaying poor sportsmanship, or engaging in conduct deemed unbecoming of the event. The introduction of this code reflects a broader effort within professional golf to balance emotional authenticity with respect for tradition. Golfers are human, and moments of frustration are inevitable. However, tournaments like the Masters carry a unique prestige, and players are expected to uphold a certain level of decorum. Garcia's history of similar incidents only added fuel to the debate. At the 2025 Open Championship held at Royal Portrush, he was also involved in a club-breaking episode, reinforcing the perception that his temper can sometimes get the better of him. For critics, this pattern makes Homa's comments understandable, even if his own record complicates the message. Beyond Homa and Garcia, the conversation around player conduct has extended to other professionals as well. Reports emerged that Robert McIntyre was reprimanded after making an inappropriate gesture during a televised round. Incidents like these suggest that the issue isn't limited to a single player but is part of a larger cultural shift within the sport. Fan reactions to Homa's remarks were mixed but leaned heavily toward criticism. Some viewed his comments as valid but poorly timed, given his own history. Others were less forgiving, accusing him of hypocrisy and questioning his credibility on the topic. Phrases like, "typical Homa," and "the most Max Homa thing ever," circulated widely, reflecting a growing skepticism among certain segments of the fanbase. At the same time, there were those who defended Homa, arguing that acknowledging a problem doesn't require perfection. From this perspective, his willingness to speak out, even imperfectly, could be seen as part of an ongoing effort to promote better behavior in the sport. After all, professional athletes often evolve over time, learning from their mistakes and striving to set a better example. Ultimately, the controversy highlights the complex relationship between athletes, media, and fans in the modern era. In a world where every action is recorded and easily accessible, past behavior can quickly resurface and reshape current narratives. For players like Max Homa, this means that their words are often judged not just on their own merit, but in the context of their entire career. The situation also underscores the challenges of maintaining authenticity while navigating public scrutiny. Golfers are expected to be both relatable and exemplary, a balance that is not always easy to achieve. Moments of frustration can humanize players, but they can also undermine their credibility when discussing issues of conduct. In the end, Homa's comments may have been well-intentioned, but they inadvertently placed a spotlight on his own inconsistencies. Whether this leads to a change in perception or simply becomes another chapter in the ongoing conversation about sportsmanship remains to be seen. What is clear, however, is that in today's game, the line between criticism and self-reflection is thinner than ever, and crossing it can come with immediate consequences. As the dust settles, both Homa and Garcia find themselves at the center of a broader discussion about accountability in golf. Their experiences serve as a reminder that in a sport built on precision and discipline, even the smallest misstep, whether physical or verbal, can leave a lasting impression.